So over the last few months, I've been a huge advocate of Ace VR, and I've been sharing that with you guys here and over on the other channel. I've actually racked up over 170,000 trigger presses in the simulation. And the question remains, how effective is Ace at preparing you to compete in a USPSA style match, which is the simulation environment that is replicated in Ace, or how much of a better shooter can Ace actually make you? I recently put that to the test. And, you know, my background with USPSA is I'm a novice, like I'm a total amateur. I had fired, I had competed in one match previously, just a few months back. And then after putting in this like very high round count in the simulation, I went out and I competed in my second USPSA match. Roughly 60 people came out to compete. I finished 15th overall of 60, not a terrible showing. I had moments of greatness for sure. And then there's also some moments where I know that my performance could have been better. So today I want to just talk to you guys about how I think Ace prepared me for the match, and then just do a quick AAR of each stage, talk through my performance, where I think I was performing well as a direct result of my time using the Ace VR trainer and my own dry fire and range time, and where I know that I need to improve. So let's kick it off with the very first stage. This is what that one looks like, and then we'll talk about it.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Stand by.
All right, so first stage of the day, I was really nervous, and you could tell. I definitely felt the match pressure. I had not gone to the range the week prior, so I was coming in extremely cold to this specific stage, the match as a whole, and then this stage in particular, and you could tell. It was a bizarre start, and it was it was probably the most complex field stage I've ever had to compete in. The previous match I went to had much smaller stages, and this one was just kind of like, it was a fun stage. It was exciting. I had a lot of moving, a lot of shooting. There was an activator, disappearing targets, the whole deal, but you could tell that it was my first time doing it. So the first 4 targets were terrible. I was firing slow. I was over confirming the dot, and then the biggest error that I could visibly see was I overdrove one of my transitions such that you can see me like actually have to drag the dot back onto the target to re-engage, which is interesting because I've always said that in Ace, it's an excellent vision and transition trainer. And I can say here that while my transitions for the rest of the day were much better, right there you could see the error that I made. And I don't think I would recognize that error had I not rehearsed as much as I have with Ace VR and just done it correctly so many times that in that moment, even while I was competing, I could feel the error, and I immediately corrected it. And you can see after those first 4 targets went down, the rest of the stage actually was pretty clean. I was shooting quick, shooting accurately, and overall doing pretty well. Finished that stage 23rd overall out of 60, so not great. I also shot it pretty cleanly. I had 22 A's, 4 C's, no deltas, no mics. So shot it too slow, shot it way too deliberately. But once we got going, we were going pretty good. Unfortunately, my camera actually cut out on the next stage, so I couldn't capture it and share it with you guys, but I did end up finishing that one 16th out of 60, so significant improvement over our starting position of the day. And I shot that one with 21 A's, 2 C's, and 2 D's, sped up my shooting, lost some accuracy as a result, but overall had a stronger finish, and I'm reasonably proud of it. The next stage I did get on camera, and this is what that one looked like.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Stand by. slide forward, hammer, holster. Range is safe, time 2521.
All right, so this was my worst field stage of the day. And it wasn't because my shooting was bad, although it was bad. It was because my stage plan was terrible. And one of the things that ACE can't really prepare you for is these more complex field stages. Most folks, including myself, we just don't have the room to run those size stages in ACE. And so while I can do all the mental rehearsals and I can teleport around it and understand how I would love to shoot it, it's difficult to find the space to actually run through and do these. And I think, you know, you'll see in a couple of these coming up that ACE benefited me the most on kind of stand and deliver stages where I'm shooting at speed accurately, lots of transitions. But it did not help me as much with the stage planning as I thought that it really would have. And here, some of it was just fear. I know I was shooting the stage inefficiently, but I was shooting conservatively and trying to shoot it clean. It just cost me way, way, way too much time. I was taking targets at 20 and 25 yards that if I had just moved to other firing positions or taken them in different orders, I would be taking them at like 7 to 10 yards and I could just double tap and continue moving. And that cost me dearly. Overall on this one, I ended up 26th out of 60 with 19 alphas and 5 Charlies, no deltas, no mics. So again, like shot it reasonably clean, just was so dang slow. The next stage, however, was my strongest showing of the day. And it was also most similar to the stages that we see in ACE. And this was what that one looks like.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Stand by. Alright, if you're finished, unload. I see it, slide forward, hammer, holster. Alright, range is safe, time's 1036, 1036.
Yeah, so this was a pretty simple stage, mostly kind of like a stand and deliver sort of situation. 2 shooting boxes, paper on one side, plates on the other. We could start on either side. I chose to work from left to right. I cleared the plate rack first, knocked down the poppers, moved over. And this was just like as good as I can shoot, really kind of at the threshold of my performance. And I'm proud of the way that this one went. I ended up finishing 7th overall, which like I'm very proud of with some talented shooters out there. I'm like an unclassified rookie coming out to compete. So taking 7th on a stage with 60 competitors in the field is pretty solid. And I ended up shooting it with 15 alphas and 1 Charlie, no deltas, no mics. And really, I think the reason I did well, 2 things. One, it worked towards my strength. We were shooting steel, and I'm used to shooting plate racks. I'm used to shooting poppers. I can do it quickly. I can transition quickly as a result of my time in the ACE VR simulation. And then the one movement I nailed. So I was leaning out of the shooting box as I knocked down the last popper. As I arrived in the next shooting position, I already had my eyes on the target that I was going to engage. I was slowing down. My gun was already up. And as soon as I had a stable firing position, I started cleaning those targets from right to left. And it just worked well. So super proud of that one. Let's take a look at the next one, though.
Shooter, are you ready?
Ready.
Stand by.
Better, I think, on the flat.
So coming off that high of that, stage where I'm cleaning the steel and the paper, I immediately bombed my first ever USPSA class fire. So the first match I ever shot, there was no class fires on the field. Second match, this one, we have this class fire up the middle. And I debated how to shoot this. I have shot this before, in training, but I'd never shot it in a match condition. And I couldn't decide whether I should work from near to far or far to near. I decided to work from far to near, thinking that my grip would be more durable early in the string of fire and I could speed up as a result. In reality, when I went to execute, the match pressure kind of set back in. I'm shooting my first class fire ever and I could feel it. So I shot slow. And that was, just shooting conservatively because I was afraid to miss. This was a Virginia count scored stage, so I had no extra rounds, no makeup shots, or they'd be penalized. And I had to get everything, in the center of the target. So I had an A and a C on my first target, and that C ended up being counted as a mic because it was in the black, and then the rest was A's. So my only miss of the entire day was on this stage, and it was a class fire, naturally. So yeah, just need to work on it. I probably should have shot near to far. I could have shot more aggressively. So I shot scared and I missed. And it is what it is. So we'll get him next time.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Stand by. show through. I see it slide forward, hammer, holster. Range is safe.
And I made up some of that on the final stage of the day. Had one very weak moment here in the beginning. Got the gun loaded and engaged my first target reasonably fast. And that was fine. But then I got super gun shy as I transitioned over to the right and started working on the paper. And I had these partials again. And just seeing the partials caused my brain to slow down. So instead of just like hammering the trigger twice and moving, I was very, very slow, reconfirming the dot and firing. And as a result, I shot super slow. I shot it clean, but I shot it really, really slow. And I also threw my stage plan out the window because my initial plan was to engage the targets to the left and then start working deep and then engage the targets to the right. And after I screwed that up, it messed up my sequencing for the rest of the stage. So after I cleared all that paper at the very beginning of the stage, we started moving down the shooting box. Gun comes up and I actually engaged steel on the move accurately. Like that's well within my ability. But then my brain just like farted and I didn't know what target to shoot next. And I ended up shooting those targets completely out of order and then wasting like 2 seconds after I knocked down an activator popper, waiting for the disappearing target or the briefly visible target to become visible for me to fire. But after I got through that, the rest of the stage was pretty clean. I took the long target in the next shooting box on the move. My reload was super clean. I managed to I managed to take all the paper that was deep in the bay, on the move, even if I was moving slowly. And then I cleaned the last steel and paper, quickly. So the last part of that stage felt really, really, really good. So overall, I did reasonably well. We just, 15th out of 60, not terrible for my second USPSA match. I'm shooting a classifier match next, so hopefully I don't suck. I'd love to see, a B classification or better as my first classification. And overall, how do I think that ACE prepared me for this? I think one, just the mental rehearsals of being in a match environment helped tremendously. So just like having the psychological experience of being in a digital match environment, I think it prepared me quite a bit. And while I still felt match pressure, and I don't think that ever actually goes away when you compete and you care, it was significantly diminished as a result of having done it thousands of times virtually. Further, my transitions throughout the day felt very, very good. The dot was going exactly where I wanted it. I was getting on target really, really fast. My index felt great. My trigger control felt great. My biggest, the biggest stuff I know I need to work on, one, stage planning, obviously, just getting used to playing this game and doing it well. And then second, not over confirming my dot. And, in ACE, I don't over confirm the dot at all. I'm shooting pixels, so I don't care. There's not a explosion going off in front of my face. And I need to begin to replicate that more in a, live fire environment when I'm just doing my own practice range days, and certainly also in a match setting. But overall, I'm very pleased with the progress I've made so far. I think I'm off to a hell of a good start in action pistol performance shooting. And I appreciate you guys sticking around to, listen to my journey as I work through it. And I know a lot of you guys have been doing this for a hot minute, and I'd love to get your feedback as well. So look forward to reading about that in the comments. And if you guys are interested in ACE and you want to dive into that simulation, if you choose to purchase it, it's a subscription-based service. But if you use the code PAIRS, you'll also get a free month, and I get a couple bucks as well. And I appreciate you guys who consider using that promo code whenever you go to check out. If you guys enjoyed today's video, leave a comment down below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one.